Today I want to go over the call flow functionality in LeadSnap. If you go into your LeadSnap account over to the left-hand navigation, closer to the bottom of the phone system, and you click the down arrow, you can see call flows. You just click that tab and you'll see where if you already have call flows in the system, they will come up right here as a list, but you can also create your own call flow to associate with a specific company. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is click whether you want to record the call or not. I always record them just so I have them in the system for reference. And then you have all of these options of what you might do in the call flow: greeting, dial a number, a round robin, meaning calling multiple numbers or a weighted average, scheduling, menu, tags, voicemail, and hang up. I'm going to go through each one in turn. So for the greeting, I have a greeting that I've recorded in and uploaded, and it's basically press 1 to connect to estimator. So if I select that greeting, which is the one that I normally use, then that step in the call flow is created. So why do I do press 1 to connect to estimator? I do that because, number one, it eliminates bots, because bots cannot press 1 to connect. And then also what I say is press 1 to connect to estimator. I would say press 1 because they may not even be sure if they called the right number. If I say press 1 to connect to estimator, I can put that on any of my contractor lead gens, and they know they're probably in the right place because they want an estimate on something. That's ultimately what the customer wants. So that's why I always use that specific language in that greeting. And then once I have that greeting up, I will put the next greeting, and I'll usually do this as a text to voice, and I'll say, this call will be recorded for quality assurance. So just letting them know that the call will be recorded. I'm not going to set that up. The system will force me to set it up before I go on to the next step. See? So I'm not going to do that, but that's one way that you know you're getting all of your call flow in place and fully set up properly before you can go on to the next step. But in this case, I'm not going to do all the steps. So dial, if I go through the first two greeting steps and then I want to dial, I have the option to set it up as a number that I write in. I also have the option to set it up as a browser phone dial to that company, and it's just going to call me in the browser phone, or user phone, meaning that once I have an account with LeadSnap, I can set up users in the system and I can give them access to their specific lead gen assets and the data coming in, the phone calls, for example. So with that user profile, there's going to be a phone number associated with it. So for ease of use, I could just click user phone and then go and connect that specific company or user to that user phone, and that would be how I could set it up. I could set it up with multiple numbers so that they would be able to so that many numbers or multiple numbers would be dialed at the same time. So if you had multiple salespeople, for example, or meet multiple people who are in and out of the field, you could have the phones ring at the same time. Whoever answers it first is the one who gets the call. So you could set it up like that. This radio box here prevents voicemails and automated systems from answering. That would just prevent like the client's cell phone from answering and force it into the next step of the sequence rather than letting them take it out of the sequence, for example. And then this radio box route previous callers to the number they answered. So in this scenario, if I had 3 different people that could potentially answer the call, say the second number answers, these people call back, they're going to automatically be routed to the second number so that there's an ease and a consistency in who's answering the call, so there's no confusion with the potential client. And then this is where you select whether, how long you want the phone to ring before it goes to the next step. 5 seconds doesn't sound like very long. When you're actually sitting there on the phone with the phone ringing, it can be a lifetime. So again, I'm not setting this all up, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. But the next option that you have is round robin. So if I had multiple numbers in the system, I could do a weighted average and send each one of them 33% of the calls, for example, things like that. And then on top of that, I also have the other options with the prevent voicemails and automated systems from answering, and also routing calls to the number that they answered last time. that answered last time. And I also have the time constraint here. So that's how you would set up a round robin. And then the next option would be schedule. I could also have a schedule where this would come in really probably before the dial or the round robin in most circumstances, because you would want schedule A, for example, to be whatever your business hours are, and then schedule B would be during specific off hours in the evening. So this is the indicator of where you're setting it up. So branch A, let's say it's any day, or let's say weekdays between specific hours, say 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. it would go and dial this number. And then if I added branch B, then I would select it, and then I would go down and select a round robin and say at night dial these 3 numbers at this weighted average or something like that. So you could set it up as intricately as you would like. And without that being set up, I'm going to cancel it out and show you the menu option, where once the greetings come in, you could say press 1 for sales, press 1 for support or accounting, something like that. And this is the way you would set up these menu options. So again, if this said press 1 to connect to sales or whatever, then I would be able to add these different options here. So I'd say press 1, and this label is just for my own reference. So I could say sales, press 2 would be for support, and press 3 would be for accounting. And then I would set these up individually to go to each of the specific numbers that are associated with those specific parts of the company, in other words. So that's how I would set that up. Super simple. And then let me delete this out. And then we would go to tags. So tags I can specifically set up to tag a new like an opportunity or answered call or missed call specifically when it's coming in. So it can automatically add tags to those calls coming in, so you don't have to do it manually later on. And then once it goes through the system, if nobody answers, you would send them to voicemail. And again, you would select a voicemail that you've uploaded before. Mine says we're in a project meeting. If you can text or call back or leave your detailed project requirements, then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Then I have a much better idea of what they want at the end of the day. So that's the voicemail. And then finally, if you just wanted it to hang up, you could just have it hang up. So that is the call flow section in LeadSnap. Lots of capability, lots of flexibility, lots of functionality. And you can set this up in so many different ways. You can see just playing around with it. So simple to get around, to set it up. The interface and everything is super intuitive. No problem. You can set those up differently for every company that you have, or you can set up the same one. Literally takes a minute once you get comfortable with the call flow and you understand what you are trying to accomplish. It makes total sense. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will get a LeadSnap subscription and check out the call flows.